Donald Trump is a liar. Take his recent State of the Union address. How many times do you think he lied in it?
First 10 months, I ended 8 wars. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion. First duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Hi, I'm Mussab Ali. I'm running for Congress in New Jersey's 8th District. As you can see from just one speech, President Trump lacks trustworthiness. So today, we'll be going through the 7 level of Trump's lies, ranging from stupid all the way up to catastrophic.
It's sick when you see like children crying and people being taken from their parents. It's heartbreaking.
Make America great again, and then it becomes a movement of a bunch of dorks.
And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be.
Level 1. Trump Tower has 68 floors. If you look up Trump Tower, you'll often find that it's marketed as having 68 floors. But in reality, it just has 58. You'll find this is a common trend with Trump. He claims he's 6'3", but when he stands next to someone who's actually 6'3", he's definitely a little bit shorter. Is our president compensating for something? Is he projecting his insecurities over his height onto his buildings? It's such a dumb lie that doesn't seem necessary. But if you thought level 1 was stupid, level 2 would have you questioning our president's ability to count.
Honestly, it looked like 1.5 million people. Whatever it was, it was.
This is in reference to Trump talking about his inauguration crowd size, where he often claims it was the biggest in US history. Now, the difference between 1 million and 1.5 million is pretty big, but what we really need you to think about is the actual crowd size was less than half of that. If you look at Trump's rally as of late, it seems the greatest president of our time needs to get an eye doctor. What's even funnier is that Trump's inauguration crowd size doesn't even crack the top 3 of this century.
Yes, it was the biggest electoral college win since Ronald Reagan.
Trump made this claim after his first presidential victory, where he won 304 to 227. What's hilarious about this is that the mark of 304 isn't even the biggest victory in the 2010s. Obama won with 322 in 2012 and 365 in 2008. Let's keep going back. Clinton won with 379 in 1996 and 370 in 1992. George Bush Sr. won with 426 in 1988. In fact, of the 58 elections up to that point, Trump's win was the 46th. Again, what was Trump trying to accomplish here besides hoping to exaggerate himself? Now, while level 2 and 3 were clearly Trump just trying to puff up his image, I think it's safe to say neither of those were too harmful. They're just a little silly. But that's about to change with the singular lie that started my political career.
I watched when the World Trade Center came tumbling down. And I watched in Jersey City, New Jersey, where thousands and thousands of people were cheering as that building was coming down.
You expect us to believe that in the middle of 9/11, Donald Trump was looking over at the corporate towers on the Jersey City waterfront and saw thousands of people who he somehow knew were Muslim celebrating? Trump went on TV the next day, and they said to him they checked every single TV channel, and they could not find a single person who was celebrating. And yet, despite that, he doubled down. He said, look, I looked across the river and I saw them celebrating with my own 2 eyes. For years, this has been a conspiracy theory just trying to harm the people of Jersey City. And when the towers fell, no one knew who was responsible or why they did it. So how could anyone be celebrating? This lie did nothing but incite the already sordid levels of Islamophobia we have in this country, and the president should be ashamed he stoked the flames. Now we've seen lies that were stupid, lies that were hurtful, and lies that were anti-American. But for this point forward, every single lie has impacted US history forever.
Our country was being invaded by an army of 25 million people, many who came from prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums.
Are you starting to pick up a theme here? His lie reveals his desire to purge this country of our diversity. There has never been any evidence that the majority of immigrants came from prisons and asylums. The rhetoric he uses here is simply not true. And all it does is stoke fear towards immigrants in this country. The Trump administration has never given an actual source to back up any part of this claim. Yet he says it with such confidence that unfortunately many Americans begin to believe him. How can we let the President of the United States make such statements with zero data to prove it? This single lie has divided Americans more than anything Trump has said, leading to millions of lives ruined. But level 6 is where we learn who's really pulling the strings behind the Trump administration.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
As we covered in our last video, thousands of innocent civilians in the Middle East have died because of Iran's war that Trump and Israel started. Trump's big claim for his second campaign was that he wouldn't start any new wars. That if you voted for Kamala, she would send you to war. But now, Pete Hegseth and Trump are enacting an automatic draft enrollment. Everything about war Trump said he wouldn't do, he is doing right now. Our politicians should keep the promises they make to us, the people they represent. But instead, they only keep the promises they make to their donors. And when you look at who funded Trump's campaign, you start to understand why he continues to support Israel. But out of all the lies I've debunked so far, the lies that turned us against each other, somehow level 7 is the worst. And that's because it attacks the very fabric of America itself.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election.
Have you ever heard the phrase American hegemony? It refers to how America is now the dominant global superpower. We are a country of over 300 million people, with more wealth than any nation has ever had in history. Everything hinges upon one law that we hold above all others. And it's like a house of cards. If it falls, everything else will. What's that one thing, you might ask? It's our right to vote. Our right to choose who gets to represent us and who gets to sit in the Oval Office and claim responsibility over not just 340 million Americans, but billions of people all over the world. And Trump threatens to undermine all of that. We all know about January 6th. Thousands of Trump supporters raided the Capitol building, citing their belief that the 2020 election was stolen as their motivation. These people should have been convicted and jailed for their crimes. Yet, Trump issued a full, unconditional pardon to 1,600 of these domestic terrorists. It's almost as though he was thanking them for believing his lie. When Trump calls the 2020 election a big lie, he's borrowing a phrase from Adolf Hitler himself. Hitler accused Jews of spreading lies about how the German army performed in World War I. And now Trump is using that vocabulary to describe America? 55% of polled Republicans believed Biden's victory was the result of illegal voting or rigging. And that was simply not the case. You're probably wondering why I call this the worst lie of all. And it's not necessarily because it's had the most horrifying fallout. I would argue that the war Trump has started is worse on the global stage. But it's because if we aren't vigilant in fighting this lie, that the 2020 election was rigged, Trump will actually try and create a fascist regime. Think about 2028. I pray we somehow don't allow Trump to run for a third term, but let's say whoever Trump wants to succeed him loses, Trump could claim that the election was stolen or rigged again. If we don't believe in the legitimacy and power of our vote, this country will fall apart. If we don't believe that we, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, can vote in representatives who will fight for us, this country's lifespan will quickly expire. That's why this is the worst lie. Not because of what it did, but because what it may continue to do. My name is Mussab Ali, and if you live anywhere here, consider voting for me in the upcoming Democratic primary for Congress to fight fascism. And like and subscribe to continue getting more breakdowns like this.